Hello, everyone. Welcome to Women of Influence Summit 2021. I am your host, Kimberly Lawson of Lawson Learning Academy. I'm just so excited that you are here, and every single interview today is going to be phenomenal. So make sure that you continue watching all of the videos. Right now, we have none other than Eulica Kimber. Hello, Eulica.
Hello, Kimberly. Hello, everyone. How are you?
I am phenomenal. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. New year, new start. Time to get things going. I feel good.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, very quickly, tell all of the attendees of Women of Influence Summit 2021 who Eulica Kimber is.
Well, that could be answered on many different levels. I'm a mom. An accountant. A spiritual being. There's a lot of ways to answer that. But I'm a business owner. I own a accounting firm, Firm Foundation Accounting Solutions. I'm a certified public accountant and MBA. And one of my passions is entrepreneurship, especially when it comes to women of color. So I enjoy helping women build profitable businesses based on numbers and the actual statistics that come from their business. I help them speak the language of business and be able to speak it eloquently enough so they can wield profitable deals for themselves and just to be able to operate in the business atmosphere without fear, without anxiety.
That is wonderful. Oh my goodness, you are just doing so many great things. That is powerful work. That is so powerful. So I'm honored to be in a session with you right now because, anytime that you are in the room with other women of power and influence, it is that energy gets transferred to you as well. So this is wonderful.
Yeah, and actually that means that you actually possess that because though it's an attraction. So what you see, what you admire is because it's in you as well. So
Love that.
we're in good company.
Yes, yes, you're gonna turn me into a physicist on this whole summit, talking about laws of attraction and energy and things like that. I love it. So, my first question: when did you know entrepreneurship was for you?
So it's a very interesting story. Um, Actually, my first business was not accounting. My first business was home interior. I don't know if you remember home interiors. It's kind of like Mary Kay or Avon, but they sell home stuff.
I remember that with all the little home decor.
Yes.
Yes.
So my very first business venture, I was working as an accountant. I've been working as an accountant since I graduated from college in 1992. So that was always my job, but I like decorating and decor and that kind of thing. And so I went to a home interior party and I got so swept up and the lady had a deal and I signed up and I left with a kit. So I was a home interior specialist. And that was my first venture into entrepreneurship where I really learned how to listen to people, how to see their needs, and really learn to see like one person wants a picture. I can see like, hey, with this whole wall. So they would want a picture, but I could sell them a whole wall. I'm like, oh, we need to do the bathroom as well. So I would come into their home, pull my shoes off with my nail and hammer. And I learned that, oh, I'm good at communicating and meeting the needs of people. But the accounting thing didn't come till years later. Really having my own business, probably in about 2010ish, and that is because I was doing everything for free. So if you're an accountant and you go to the PTA meeting, you should not tell people you're an accountant because I ended up being the treasurer of the PTA. Then I was the treasurer of the dance team, and then I was doing the fundraiser for the local school. It was just too much, and I was doing all these things for free. And finally, that eventually some events happened and it ended up turning into an actual business. But my entrepreneurial start was actually selling home interior. Had nothing to do with accounting.
But there's so much you can learn from doing direct sales.
Yes.
Home interior is probably one of the only ones I have never actually done. So I've sold Avon, I've sold
Really?
Tupperware, I've sold Scentsy. for a short period of time, I sold vacuum cleaners. Like people make the jokes about like door-to-door salesman.
Like the expensive ones?
Kirby, yes. I was a Kirby sales girl, yes. So
but it's so, but you know, the Bible says you should not despise small beginnings. But you learn from being in an established business. They have a model for you. They have scripts for you. You learn. Sometimes people think they're going to build an empire just from scratch. And I believe that no experience is wasted. So even in those multi-level marketing companies, you learned how to sell, how to communicate. They had sales copy, so we should know how to write sales copy. Yeah, I think that's a good thing. But I'm glad you're a MLM alum, a fellow.
Yes. And so you brought up a very excellent point about like how direct sales, all the things that you can gain from it. For me, one of the most important things that I gained from direct sales was being used to being told no. You know, that's something that as an entrepreneur, I feel like you have to get over. You have to get over people telling you no, because everybody, whether they need it or not, is not going to buy the product. They're not going to buy your services. It doesn't matter if it's $1. If it's not for them, it's not for them. And so being told no really kind of toughened up my skin, thickened my skin for entrepreneurship. So what do you think was the biggest lesson that you learned from direct sales, from your first start as an entrepreneur?
I would say that the accepting no of grace is really what I learned. One thing that I learned. But I think the biggest thing that I took away from multi-level marketing from the home interior business is being able to see a person's need. Not really just saying, oh, I'm sell, but to really talk to a person and say, you know, I really want to do the nursery. And then we talk about the nurse, and then it's really genuine. I'm really learning about the person, and that if I talk less about the product and more about their need, I could sell more product. So I really learned the importance of connecting with people.
Yes.
And so people, like some people I see today, if I still got that picture, I'm like, girl, you need to update if you still got that picture. But they remember like the whole transformation, or they were having a baby, or they were getting their first apartment or their first home. And so I remember those events over the actual sales part. But that's the part that made the selling easy, because I connected with the people. And I think that's really my strong suit, even in my current business.
Absolutely. So one of the things that you are known for in your business, which is one that I absolutely love, is talking about unbootleg your business. Tell us about unbootleg your business very quickly. What does that mean?
So first of all, I did not intend for that to be like the catchphrase. I said it in an interview or a presentation or something, and it caught on. Even in the course that I created, I kept calling it everything else, and somebody had to finally say, you know, it's supposed to be unbootleg. I'm like, that's not a name. But I feel like that we, especially in our community, African American community, we do excellent work when we're working for others. We show up on time, we look good, we do whatever. But when it comes to doing our own endeavors, we take shortcuts. And
Yes.
I feel that I define the unbootleg business kind of by not defining it. It is not a well-run business. It's not organized. It has no plan. It has it might be selling stuff that don't even match. So you could be braiding hair and doing a travel business, and you're doing makeup. It's just stuff that just don't match. It's not really a thought out business. Doesn't have structure in place like a business bank account. Can't even, like now, I see on the TV they're talking about the new bill that's come out. So there's a new era of PPP that's coming out. Bootleg businesses can't even take advantage of it, because you need some structure in place to go even apply. And it hurts me. It bothers me because it puts us at a disadvantage in the marketplace. It makes sure that our prices are always low, because we're never legal. We don't know the true amount it takes to run a business. We cannot empower our community because we cannot hire people, because we aren't building businesses. We're always hustling about We're not, and then we get upset because other communities come in there and run a business because they're running a legal business. You know what I'm saying? But because you want to keep everything under the table, you can never grow. Never, you're going to always stay in the shadow. As a matter of fact, in economics, we call that the shadow economy. So when you're operating under the table, you're not even real. So those numbers you see on TV with employment, it ain't even counting you. You don't even exist to them. Wow.
Wow. I mean, that was my thought. And you said so much in that is relatable content. So there is a very big, well-known chain, and I talked about this in interviews, that is known for selling burgers. Well, suddenly they were going to sell tacos. I still am like, no, like it didn't even make sense for the business. It was meat paste. It wasn't actual ground beef or chicken in there. It was meat paste. Like, how are you selling tacos? I'm still trying to understand that. That just that it
So
did.
I don't know which chain it was because I don't do tacos. But when you have, but I don't think that's a bad thing. So you can, when you get to a certain profit level, you can try things.
Right. And that's what it was. It was an experiment, and it quickly went back off the menu
And
because
guess what? They probably didn't lose no money over that. So
no,
that's what I don't believe. Yeah, but you can only do that kind of stuff when you're established. But when you're starting out, doing 10 different things is not going to probably be to your benefit as far as being profitable.
right.
Businesses are kind of like babies. They have to be nurtured. And so sometimes when you spread yourself too thin or you're doing things, because it takes a lot you and I know it takes a lot to run a business.
Yes, it does.
Even simple thing. I looked at something that I've been working on for a while, and it's a misspelled word in it. Like I've been looking over this thing so you don't have enough eyes to do everything you do. So how could I manage 10 different things effectively and really deliver value to customers? So I think as new business owners, and I understand what you're saying about the pace. I'm really kind of disturbed by that, but but as new owners, we can't afford. They can afford it because they're still in operation today, right?
Yes.
We might not survive that because they're like, well, I don't even know what she does. She's doing nails today. She's doing whatever tomorrow. So we have to work very hard to establish a baseline to build credibility. And as we kind of alluded back to the MLM conversation, that is building a foundation so people probably weren't surprised when we started a new endeavor. You know what I mean? Because we had some kind of track record. We had some kind of experience and comfort in talking to people and hearing the no. So each experience should be building you on for the next experience. So sometimes when you're jumping about, you miss those lessons.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And it has to fit and make sense for your personality as well. Just beyond the brand, it needs to make sense for your own personality, so that you do build that rapport with your clientele. So now you are shifting to something different, and you have that rapport with them, that they're like, okay, this is different. But what I know about Eulica is she does not run a bootleg business. So
Exactly.
go over here and see what Eulica is doing, because I have that experience and that trust with Eulica as a brand, that if you said you were selling cars tomorrow, I'd be on there knowing I'm not getting ready to buy a car and be like, let me see.
I don't know. Stay tuned.
Right. So my next question is, tell us, what is one of the best lessons that you have learned from failure?
The best lesson that I've learned from failure, and this is not just business, it's life, is that failure happened, but I am not a failure. I think at times things that happen in our early lives, challenges, letdowns, can hinder our confidence. So I had to take the lesson, but not internalize it as a reflection of me. Some things just happen. So going back to somebody at that company had the taco idea. I'm sure they were not fired because it didn't work. We just trying it. No judgment. We put it out there. It didn't work. We're gonna move on. And that's the way we have to be in failure. That it doesn't. We learn that lesson. Okay, We tried it, and it's time to move on. But sometimes, especially we as women, and particularly African American women, we take a lot of what has happened to us and equate that to our value, and that is not true. So as long as you keep your head up and keep pushing, learn a lesson. Maybe that wasn't the business for you, or maybe you weren't selling to the right people, or maybe you weren't as confident, and address those issues and just don't stop no matter what. Keep pushing.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I believe it was Thomas Edison that invented the light bulb. And I believe the number of times that he failed at inventing the light bulb was 126 or it was 125. I know, excuse me, it was either one of those. It was either 125 or it was 126. And there's a quote that goes around and said that, I've discovered 126 ways in which the light bulb will not work.
Exactly. It's a lesson. And I think that goes back to in the book that we worked together in with Charvet. My chapter is on the growth mindset, and it talks about your mindset about how you see the world. And some people see everything in a limited manner. They see failure as end, and it's more about the learning process. It's more about the journey. So I think that's what Mr. Edison is saying. That no, it took that. That was the journey that it took to get there, and we still sitting in here under his invention right now. You know what I mean? It takes that process, but some people aren't willing or don't have the capacity to really take that journey because there's some disappointment. I'm sure sometimes that he wanted to walk away, but it's really about staying the course and really seeing what the end will be. And that while you're still doing that, it still needs to be some kind of ways that you need bringing in money because you got to feed your family. But you can keep this project on the side and still work on it, still try it, still explore. One of the things that we don't do as business owners enough is talk to the customer, ask them what they need. What did you think? How did you experience it? Because you don't know that it was a failure. Because they might have been like, "Oh, it would be nice if it was blue." And you're like, "Wait a minute! All I had to do was change the color." They could give you some feedback as to how to get that on course. But yeah, I agree. Just never stop. That's my. If no one takes anything else from this conversation with me today, is just don't stop.
Yes, absolutely. Continue going, put a comma there, not a period, and pause, keep going.
Mhm.
Absolutely. And the importance of doing a survey or getting that feedback from customers, that is a valuable nugget in itself because you're getting information from the people who are spending money on your products and services. So it would be great to know what else they want.
Yes, exactly. That's why we get those annoying surveys, and they don't mean for all of them. Like when you're on the phone with the credit card company, can we get a survey? After this call, do you mind? So all they don't need 100%. If they get 10%, they probably get some valuable information. Because if you really have something that you don't like, you probably are more likely to speak. So they're learning how to make course corrections in their business just by us giving feedback. Like you might get something free or free whatever for doing the survey. And so and if that's something that the big boys do, we could take time to follow up with the customer and say, please tell me your experience. Let me know, what else did you need? Was this hard to read? I like my worksheets. I like people to give me feedback on them because I'm in my mid. I'm very analytical, but a person like that was too much information. Oh, let me clean that up.
Right.
Feedback is key. Your customer will tell you what you need.
Yes, and that means, and then if they tell you what they need and you are able to implement the changes or add those products and services, you're now retaining your customers. People think about in business about getting that initial sale. Your money, your long money is in the resale.
Yes, yes. And really the lifetime value of a customer. And I
Yeah.
think in the space that we work in is opportunities for repeat sales with customers. And you have to figure out what they need. And they have to know that you're open for change. Just like with an iPhone, we're on what number is it?
12.
12. And so but they learn from us. They learn from us
Right.
what works. And when it don't work, we blast them, right? We're like, this version and
This
whatever.
is trash. Give me
Yeah.
a
And
listen.
they're not offended. They're like, okay, that didn't work. Everybody's phone crashed. We're gonna rewrite it. They aren't moved. And I think the other thing for us as women is that we are very emotionally attached to the things that we do and put out. And you can't be that emotionally tied to it that you won't change it, you won't alter it, you won't grow it. Just even and just so think about it. So with the iPhone, they're the phones 1 through whatever 12, but then in between we get updates. So just
Right,
think about how many updates that is to the product. That product is never complete. It's never,
right. Right. It's a
you know.
living document. It's a
Yeah.
living product and service. It's just like a living document where you allow that space for updates and you get the feedback, you fix the little bugs and things like that. And I think as women we take it personal because we put so much into it. But I view it as, you're pregnant, doctor telling you having a boy, you having a boy, you having a boy. Lo and behold, you are in that. I think it's like 1 or 2% where they are still, the sex is still kind of misread or something.
Mhm.
And now you give birth, and it's a girl. Do you are definitely going to have to make some adjustments about what
Exactly.
your plans were, coming out, and so that's just how it goes.
And I think that it's important for communities like this and events where there are women focused. I mean, we can sit with everybody else at sometimes, but it has to be sometimes that we as women are together so we can speak life to each other and to our businesses and make corrections until we are comfortable with feedback. And it's easier to take feedback from somebody that you trust. And so that we are accustomed to hearing feedback without taking it as an attack, as that your failure. It's not your failure. It's just that it could be just a little different. Because going back to the iPhone, they're never crazy major updates.
No.
Like, oh, here's a new emoji. Okay, it's little things at a time. It's course corrections, and if you're teachable all along the way, you don't have to revamp everything. You just adjust little by little, and that's how I am even with my worksheets and my courses. I'm like, oh, let me go fix that, and I go and I fix that one. I don't have to take the whole course down. I go in there and I fix that little thing, and I keep it moving. Not a problem. Not a
Yes.
problem.
Yes, that's the best way. So I want to ask you about LLCs because I get questions about an LLC. And so I know that one of the things people like to do is one of the new trends now, everybody's getting an LLC to legally organize their business, and that's great. But what's your opinion about multiple LLCs? Like somebody on a t-shirt line, they got an LLC for that. They're gonna sell makeup, they get one for that. They got like 4 or 5.
So the key word that you said in that whole couple of sentences there was a business. A business is a profit making, income generating, profit gold operation. So that's the question you need to answer first. So do you have a profitable business? Making it an LLC does not make it profitable. So I would only make that's not even a decision that you make on day one. Actually, you need to figure out what your business is. One, what you're equipped to do, what you enjoy doing, because you might sign up and pay all this money for 10 LLCs, and then 6 months later you don't even want to do it. So first, I would figure out if you have a profitable income generating activity first. And I don't know the trend you're talking about because people don't come to me with that because I would shut it down. So I'm like, so I would ask, so what is your business? I want an LLC. What is your income? Do you have a history? Are people buying these cakes from you? What are you doing? So I just say, don't put the cart before the horse. Figure out what's profitable, what makes money, and then choose your entity. Because LLC might not be the answer, and it's not an answer that you can give across the board. It's
Right.
not, and just like tax advice, I can't say what your whole income is. I can't say what your expenses are. I don't know. So for somebody to give you blanket advice and say, "Oh, you need to create an LLC,"
Yeah, someone is giving the advice because I am seeing it. I see an LLC before I see there was a business plan in place. before products were created, you sold anything. But I am seeing that, and so I'm always like, I'm like you said, let's see if 6 months down the line you want. I think that I see more value in people having one who maybe turn a hobby into a business,
Right.
side hustle into something a little bit more. You're generating income. You want to get it more organized legally so that you can take advantage of some of the things that might be coming out, grants. For tax purposes, of course, if you're hitting a certain limit.
But even for the things that you're talking about, even for tax purposes, what tax do you owe if you made no money? I mean, it just has
Right.
to be. Even when you go and do the LLC or register with the IRS, they want to know what's your business industry. They want to know that. They want to know what kind of business you have. Even when you create a website, it's going to ask you, what type of business do you have? Oh, I got 8. It's just, it to me just need to focus on building. And I'm not saying the LLC is bad. I'm not saying that at all. It has its place, but there are more than one entities besides LLC. And an LLC may not be appropriate. It just depends. It's just not something that I can give you blanket advice over. And so there's a thing too with entrepreneurs. We like completing activities that make us feel like we have a business. Some people like the idea of being in business. So having an LLC makes you feel like you're in business. So they'll take time to do that because it really doesn't take a lot of effort and a little money, but they won't sit down and write a business plan. And sometimes anxiety comes when you get into the nitty gritty. Because most businesses fail. Guess why? I'll tell you. Because there is no market for the service or product that they sell. There is no market for it. There is no real demand for what they're trying to sell, or the market is oversaturated. So, and I don't know if there's a business, like if somebody has a business of creating LLCs. I don't know what the trend is because I really haven't been a part of those conversations. Because, and I would ask too, are there a CPA? Who is telling you that you need an LLC? Especially if it's kind of like a robo thing where people are just signing up and doing it. You got to have a viable business first. That is your first goal, is to put money in your pocket, to create a model that generates wealth on a regular basis so you can grow it. So you can pay your bills and pay your taxes and pay that's your goal first. And it goes back to some of the things that we were talking about earlier. You got to talk to the customers. You got to say, okay, no, this doesn't work. I need to do something else. What if you signed up for LLC or done all these things for a model that's not even profitable? So if you look on your state's what is it, the State Corporation Commission, you'll see how many dead LLCs are out there. That means they are inactive. The person never renewed it because it wasn't a viable business idea. So I would say there's a accounting principle that we learn in Accounting 101. It's called substance over form. And the accountant, as a CPA, we're mandated to focus on substance over form. So a LLC is a form. Substance is where the money. That's gonna always be my question. So I never want to have an LLC conversation until we're talking about a profitable business venture.
Listen, it's like that little popular video. Did you see the video of the guy hopping out the trunk talking about where the money resides?
Yes.
Like that is the time. If the money is residing in your bank account, in your business, it's time to then let's talk about it.
Exactly. And you know that this is something that people want. And you also see a future for it. You're like, oh, okay, if you're doing hair, you know people are gonna need that. You might grow into something. Oh, I might do products, and oh, I might do hair shows, and you say, okay, there's a future for this. And then maybe that's something you need to at some point. But I would consult a professional before doing it. And it needs to be a CPA or somebody who understands the tax implications of what you're doing. But I just want people, my desire is that people be more informed about the process. And sometimes when in our community, we like not get rich quick, but really quick solutions.
Mm-hmm.
LLC, what does that mean? You form your LLC.
Right.
What does that what does that mean?
That means you are registered with the Secretary of State.
True.
That's what it means. If the money is not residing, that's what it means. That's what it means. So, as an entrepreneur, tell us, what is your number one tool, like your go-to thing that you have to run your business day to day.
Is it a application? Whatever.
Whatever it is, it can be an application, it can be an actual, it can be a
Oh,
person.
oh,
It,
I'll show you. It's the iPad. The iPad. I run my whole business on the iPad.
oh, okay.
I have a PC as well, but most of what I do and monitor is on the iPad. Like it goes to bed with me. I can video chat on it. I have meetings with people, with clients on it. I can get to all my Google files. So I would say the iPad.
All right. And so, my last question before we wrap up, what is your advice to anyone watching this who is thinking about starting a business?
I would start them. I would ask them to look at what they've done in the past and what people ask them to do. And I know that it might not be something you really think about. I would think like if you're a person that plans weddings or you help plan weddings or you help organize something, or I would look at those things first. And people are like, oh, I want you to do mine too. That might be an indication that it's something that you should at least explore. Not saying you have to make it a business, but I would start with what you have and what you already do. That's easy. If people are always demanding your cake, maybe you need to start a little venture with the cakes. Just to get the flow together. It might, let's like us with the home material. You started with you did at the Scentsy. It don't have to be your main swim lane, but I would start with something that you like and that you enjoy and that people are already demanding of you.
Yes, that is great. That's great advice. Great, useful advice. Yalika, I want to say thank you so much for being a part of the Women of Influence Summit 2021. It has been an absolute pleasure talking to you.
Thank you. Thank you. It's an honor always to sit in your presence. And I really thank you for even pulling this event together because it's much needed. And here in January, it is time that we get on one accord and get busy because December will be here before we know it. So it's time to get moving. So I thank you even for pulling this event together for us to be here. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. All right, so attendees, continue enjoying the Women of Influence Summit 2021. All of the interviews are phenomenal, full of nuggets. I hope you have pen and paper or whatever your note taking device is so that you can write down these valuable nuggets. And if you are interested in learning more about Eulica Kimber, her information is posted with this video, so be sure to click there and learn more about her. And like I said, continue enjoying the Women of Influence Summit 2021. Bye, beautiful people.
Bye bye.